frequencies across the country every Thursday up to 5 to 6 o'clock is in relayed on the following station. The Voice of Hope in Plymouth District, Maryland County, Radio Flemington is being produced and presented by the House's Press and Public Affairs Bureau. This program features reports from the House's committee meetings with in-depth interviews and analysis about the country's legislative process. Today's Thursday is the 14th day of September, the 9th month. It is the 257th day of the year. We are left with 108 days to close off this year. This year, according to the National Elections Commission, is elections in Liberia, the presidential and legislative election, 26 days more to go to elections. And so, welcome to the program Roundtable Discussion here on today in the House of Representatives. I'm Robert Haynes, your usual host on the program here along with I'm Luke Yeager. Well, I'll take a few bars of our theme song. Invite someone to listen with you. When we're back, we'll bring you amazing thoughts. Following that, we'll give you those things encapsulated on the agenda for today's radio show. We're back shortly. Welcome back to the program. Let's run quickly to the Press and Public Affairs Bureau to bring you amazing facts on today. Of course, amazing fact is a component on the radio show here, telling you about some informative and educative thing about the Liberian legislature that you do not know about. And so let's go to the Press Bureau and bring you amazing facts.
Amazing facts about the legislature. Do you know, in the order of precedence, the 10th ranking member of the Honorable House of Representatives is the chairperson on Gender, Equity, and Child Development? Do you know the House's Standing Committee on Information, Broadcasting, Culture, and Tourism is chaired by Mangibi County District Number 2 Representatives Ava K. Jones? Do you know, according to the House's Rule 16.1 states that messages from the President to the House of Representatives may be received at any stage of the proceeding, except while the House is voting or accepting the presence of a quorum, or while the journals is being read or adopted, or while the question or order or motion to adjourn is pending? Do you know the leadership of the House of Representatives shall consist of the following officials: the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, the House Chair on Executive, the House Chair on Foreign Affairs, the House Chair on Judiciary, and the House Chair on Ways, Means, and Finance, the House Chair on Rules, Order, and Administration, the House Chair on Public Accounts and Expenditures, and the House Chair on Gender, Equity, and Child Development, the House Chair on National Security, and all co-chairpersons on statutory committees? Do you know the most protective area of the Liberian legislature constitutionally is the chambers? Do you know stewards in the legislature are responsible to bring water, soft drink, and transfer documents to and from the chambers to the office staff of lawmakers on demand? Do you know the first ever joint section of the 54th legislature was held on January 22nd, 2018 for the sole purpose of inaugurating the President and Vice President of Liberia? Those were our amazing facts for today. I'm Lady May B. Williams from the Press Bureau.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Lady May, there with the amazing facts from the Press and Public Affairs Bureau. Yeka, we're back here on the program.
Yes, I think I'd like to say it again. Hello to all of you who are listening to this program. This is your program. And it's good that we're here. Like she said, the chairperson on broadcast and information at the Honorable House of Representatives is my Gibby County Representative Ava Kokolo Jones.
Right.
And one interesting portion of that is the fact that staffers will turn over whether it is water or other documents to the sergeant at arms, and then for onward delivery to a lawmaker once session is ongoing, so you don't have the staffers, intruding into the legislative deliberation of the Honorable House of Representatives.
Right, and they have chambers staff.
Yeah.
So it's important, and that's what we have here as part of this program, giving you some amazing facts about the Liberian legislature. Most time you hear some people say parliament. We do not have parliament in Liberia. Those British colonized countries do have parliament.
Yes, Liberia has the
Legislature.
legislature.
Right. So, folks, welcome wherever you are. Invite someone to listen with you. This is the program today in the House of Representatives. It is 1 hour program that highlights activities from the biggest lawmaking house in Liberia. On the program today, we're going to be looking at several other issues, both locally and internationally. Elected 2005, 2011, 2017 by the great people of Plebo Southern District, Maryland County 2, 7, the 52nd, 53rd, and now the 54th legislature. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Bhofal Chambers, is our guest on the program today. We're going to be grilling him, looking at several other issues, wide range one Yega. So Yega and I this evening will grill her Speaker Dr. Bhofal Chambers on the following: the role of Africa in global politics, Liberia now and in the future, and of course we are going to throw our pendulum to the branch of government that he heads, the legislature. The 54th legislature, the achievements of the 54th legislature.
Yes, we'll talk more of that on the program, and I'm told that a number of community radio stations are relaying. I'm also told that the national broadcaster, that's the national television, is also lifting this broadcast. But Halle will appreciate where you two acknowledged the stations that are lifting this broadcast.
Well, definitely right. And so thanks to the management of those radio station, community radio, the Voice of Hope on FM 103.2 in Plebo, Southern District, where the speaker comes from, City FM 98.5, Truth FM 95.5, the Voice of Hope. We're also being streamed live on Liberia's national television. I've been told is an award-winning television outlet, the national television. So some of you who glue to your TV set, is good that you'll be able to watch us and be able to hear our voices as we grill the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Speaker Bhofal Chambers, welcome. How you doing?
Well, thank you very much. We are honored to be here, and we are very much thankful to be afforded this space and platform. We want to say to our wonderful people of New Jerusalem, Plebo Southern District, the county Maryland, and the country Liberia, that we are honored to be here.
You look young every day. The last time you came here, you said you take 200 push-ups every time. You still taking those push-ups?
It's a kind of a regimen. We must do that because we play soccer no more.
Okay.
So we have to substitute the time for being, rejuvenated so that we can do our job where the people have assigned us to do. So being an XY individual, meaning I'm of the chromosome XY, meaning I'm a man, I'm a male. And so I have to do those things to keep me in shape.
And I'm recollecting that a few days ago you celebrated your sister's second birthday, a belated birthday.
Yes, the people, they're beautiful people of Plebo Southern District. The attitude so exquisite. We were very happy that they could have done such a wonderful job for us. We didn't expect it, but they are few of the most reliable people on planet Earth. As I said, God, my family, and to the people of Plebo Southern District, all I am and all I ought to be, I owe it to them all.
Right, great. Speaker, thank you for joining us today. And so to begin with, we're going to start off first on the continent. And so we'll be looking at the role of Africa in global politics. And so Africa is increasingly becoming a significant player in global politics. How do you see Liberia's role in shaping Africa's stance on international issues And what steps has the legislature taken so far to enhance that role?
Liberia has an incisive leader. Liberia has a leader who is highly intelligent, and the lawmakers along are very analytical, and all of us combined are clear thinking. So we are heading there, and Africa, as I said, is very much profound, inclusive of Liberia, very profound to global prosperity. And Africa has to redefine itself in this geopolitical architecture because Africa has been the singular space that have provided, quality livelihood to the world. That is unassailable. That is incontrovertible, meaning that you cannot, doubt it. It's a clear fact that Africa, as it is God's gift to the world. Of course, Africa, used to be once the biggest continent. Today is the second largest. So we are happy that Africa has made this kind of position in the global stage on planet Earth. And I think without maybe a forced request, this has to be recognized by all persons on planet Earth because Africa is the world.
And with various challenges and opportunities on the African continent, what are some key priorities for Liberia to strengthen its diplomatic ties and collaborations with all African nations?
Well, I think we are getting there in Africa and Liberia in concert, making strides. Africa, Liberia, you see how friendly Liberia is. It's very easy for Liberians for people to come and visit and travel through Liberia as Africans. It's very difficult for Liberians to travel through other nations, African nations. And I don't think it comes from the leadership of those countries. Technicians and other low officers and officials of governments of those countries are the ones that, create those kind of atmosphere. So I think we need to have more town hall meetings as leaders. We need to go beyond the walls of conference halls, but go into palava huts and meet with the ordinary people and let them know that we all have a common destiny. And the fact that we are all humans, common humanity must be the way. So I think if we can understand that we have a common end, a common objective, then of course it will be very difficult. Very easy to transcend. Yes, with the advent of perhaps our European brothers and sisters coming into Africa, is what changed the entire chemistry. But they should be appreciative that Africa has been so receptive to them, and they cannot use this as a kind of abuse against African people. So we must be able to sit on the table to chart a new course. Africa deserves and Africa needs, unity. We need solidarity. We need to hold these, beliefs. I will call it with alacrity, meaning brisk and cheerful readiness. We must all be happy with speed to ensure that we all work together as human beings. Because Africans, as I said, are the real, I would say, providers of, the world needs. So we who are the providers should not be deprived and to be made impoverished. So we need to work together as human beings. You see, even if you look at the stage for this, Security Council, Africa is omitted. France, as small in population as it is a member of the Security Council. Britain is a member, smaller than Africa. Africa has a population of 1.4 plus billion people, but it is not represented. And Africa is the one that gives everything that the world needs. Africa yet is not represented. So who tells Africa its menu? Africa should be deciding also what it needs, and it should be able to make those orders. But the contrary is the case. So we need that fortress to be built. We need that fortitude, and we need to march on and let people know that they should not and they must not be afraid of African people, because we are the ones that provide the light to the world.
Honored Speaker, I'd like to dive a bit into Liberia now and the future. I know it's good to talk about Liberia, but of course, Liberia has made significant progress since the end of the Civil War. But there are still challenges, and Liberians continue to talk about or underscore the challenges confronting the country. Can you share your vision for Liberia? Looking at the future of Liberia, it's good to share with us your vision for this country.
Liberia is a virgin country in many ways. There are a lot of untapped, I would say, talents, other things that we need to make more meaning of making Liberia to become second to none. Liberia has the capacity. Now that things have been discovered, I don't think it has been based on serendipity, but things have been discovered.
What's the meaning of that?
Well, sometimes by accident, good discoveries come and benefits people. So that's what it means. So that said, I think we are getting there with this leader we have in person of President Weah, who I will describe as beyond excellence. He's doing his very best to ensure that all of those things that are being eluding the Liberian people come and become more palpable. You can feel and investigate, and it helps us.
Well,
So I think the legislature, on the other hand, are doing lots of good things, enacting laws to help improve the livelihood. And one of those things that we were contemplating on is just that because of time. For the first time, we, through understanding, created an ad hoc committee called the Economic Reconstruction Committee, because we know that Liberia has resources. You have diamonds, you have gold, you have even water, you have timber, you have fish, so many things. So we feel that we need value addition in terms of other areas. We need beneficiation in terms of the mining area, where you have it's almost like value addition. You have iron ore. We need to have some other products that come from iron ore. We need also to be able to improve the livelihood of the people. You have gold. You also need to have some finished product from gold. You have timber. We need all of these things. So at some point, I was able, along with others, we invited, a former German ambassador to talk about the wood industry, because in the world globally, Germany is the one that benefits more from its, production in wood products. How they go about it, they get more money than any other country in the world. So we felt that the experience learned from Germany will help Liberia. And I think, to his credit, the ambassador then, tried to give us some strategies, but he did not have the full knowledge. So there was some contemplation on having a visit to Germany, maybe the Bundestag, meaning that they have the legislators there, the legislature the legislative branch of government will be able to give us some of the laws that they have thrown up, and we hope in the future that will happen. Let me say this: this cream of officials of government, like the vision of President Weah, they are achievers, they are developers, and they are futuristic. They are futurists. So with all of those things we have, we see before us and on our plates, we also hope for a better future. That is why we were contemplating on, having this, economic reconstruction committee. And thankfully, it was headed by, or it is headed by a Maryland lawmaker called Honorable P. Mac Jury. So he's the one in charge or heading that particular committee. And we have been liaising with the executive to see how this can be sustained. I think one time too we had some officials from the European Union. We did speak with them, but again, we have to not only rely on what we get, but to marry those things with what is on the ground, so that it all can be domesticated and have our content, because we want local content. So Liberia, as it is, though there are challenges, but we know that what we are doing is good. And I manage or inform all of those persons who are being so superb, in their work, that criticism is good, because if you don't do anything, you will never be criticized. And because we all don't have mastery of things, there will be gaps. And I would just urge them that those gaps must be narrowed, and those weaknesses should be turned into strength. So we are heading there. There are challenges, and we are getting there.
Honored Speaker, since the formulation or the establishment of the Academic Recovery Committee, what impact has it on the country and its people?
Well, I would say about 90% of what has been achieved is a way that we can make progress. We have gotten the literature, most of them necessary to make a better Liberia. It's only the practical aspect, and because that was not enshrined in the real or the real organogram or the real structure, the real chart of the legislature, because as I said, ad hoc. So that will need it requires, that's budgetary, has budgetary implication. So we need to ensure that in future that be prioritized in being encapsulated or be involved in the budget, so that all of these things can go. We even think even the fishery sector, the fishing sector can also help, because we also felt that Norway, we can borrow from Norway, and of course we have been making some research on Norway, even Vietnam, and to see exactly how we can make some gains in those directions. So things are proceeding well. Yes, there will be challenges, but we are all in the position, and we know that we'll surmount those challenges. Nothing is without resistance or friction. So we want to reduce the friction so that we can have a faster velocity.
Honorable Dr. Bhofal Chambers, Liberia has been working on improving its education and health system or healthcare systems from the inception of this government. What achievements can you highlight in these areas during the tenure of the 54th legislature? And what future plans are in place to continue these improvements?
Well, like the health sector, you see the 14 military hospital, that's a plus. We haven't seen such a sizable and productive and constructive trend. Now you see it, and I want to laud the president. You see the one in Bapulu, that also a kind of improvement. Even in Plibo, there has been, thanks to the partners in health group, they have brought a modern health center to Plibo. Plibo is the most populated or the most populous district in the southeast. So they have given us a bigger health center, and I want to thank them. And this is because of the partnership we do have with well-intentioned people. So is this president who has been able to sell this country in a positive and more constructive way. So we are happy to see that in terms of education, you have more schools now being built. We have to do well into furnishing all of these schools in terms of the materials needed, and there are steps being made. We even help in the process where we have a school erected, and it's a high school now in one of the most populated area called New Plibo. It's a high school, so we'll make sure that those things happen. And the issue of even maintaining the teachers, helping to pay the tuition and the fees for the teachers, the salaries. I think there are some development Liberia has transitioned from where you had tokens to now where Liberia is responsible for itself in to carry on all of what is needed for Liberia's own growth and development. So, based on cognitive prudence, I think any reasonable person will know that Liberia is doing well. This leadership is doing well. Yes, it is not 100%. We will not be utopianistic to say that it will all be 100%. This is not heaven. So, as human beings, yes, these little gaps, these little glitches will come our way, and we are prepared to make some remediations, some corrections to move forward.
Well, folks, you're listening to the program today in the House of Representatives right here on ELBC, being relayed on hosts of community radio stations across Liberia. House Speaker Bhofal Chambers is our guest here. We are grilling him, looking at schools of other issues ranging from the economy, the legislature, and Africa, the African continent. I want to come, Mr. Speaker. You were elected on the 15th of January 2018. Since then, you've been serving as Speaker. Some have branded you as the legislative stabilizer, keeping the legislature stable from that time up to now. Could you outline some of the significant accomplishments of the 54th legislature on your tenure as a Speaker of the House?
Well, we were able to, restore the dignity of the legislature of the House. We were able to be of the concept of having a participatory legislature where people will have to give their own, contribution in terms of the work they do. But more so, we feel that treating people right is better than posting Bible voices that some people may not even be able to read. So it's the action of empathy. We treat people as ourselves. So we are, giving them the opportunity. We give them the platform to vent, to vent, their grievances, and we try to inform them that with those rights that they have or privileges come responsibilities. So I know that the tree or the curve of learning has been there, and some people make the curve to be so steep, but again we were thankful that it didn't break. But yes, sometimes there were some astonishments, but these are things. That's why you have the definition of the word. You have the word called surprise. So sometimes you see things, you get surprised, but this is why. Otherwise, there will not be a dictionary word called surprise. Shocking things come sometimes. That's human being, and sometimes you don't even know the state of mind of people. So and things happen the way they do, but thankfully things are proceeding well. But this legislature, I want to say that it has been able to produce people that have been super erogatory, meaning that they have gone beyond the bounds of being good Samaritans. So they acted well, they put the people first, and so we are proceeding in a way that we are. Yes, there will be no perfect legislature. Even in the United States, sometimes they rate the legislators as, as having 15%, 17%, so that is it. So when our people also come to us, we discuss, and sometimes they get astonished as to how we do what we do, because we believe in common humanity. That is why we go to our people. It is not sitting on the radio and talking. Most of what you see in the West is sitting on the radio and talking. So, but you see at a higher level in the West, you find those people who are at a higher level act as we are acting, because you will not imagine the West says that people at the age of 18 are independent. The contrary is that the more affluent they become, people 60 years live with their parents, and they still tell the other people who are not even able to make that link whole at age 18 to leave. No, you can see that among the Kennedys, the Bushes, they stay with their parents for almost their whole lifetime.
We're talking about George Bush?
Yes. So we are the human beings now. We are here as Africans. We should be proud of our culture. And I think what we do, we must only strengthen what we do, because the fact is that we are not museums. that you put people here, you put a sign on here, and you expect that sign to be there until you are pleased to remove that sign. But that connection, that interaction, it's best that we nurture ourselves and groom our young people and have the tradition that God has given to us. As I said, why people even came to Africa post 1884 when you have had the Scramble for Africa. Africa had always been a place where our brothers and sisters on the other side have been so envious to the point where instability has been designed by our friends. That should stop, especially when we call ourselves members of the United Nations and other groupings around the world. We should stop and work together as peaceful as possible. What happens here, happens also in the West. Take for instance, unfortunately, we have some controversies about drugs in Liberia. Not supporting,
You have passed the drugs law.
not supporting, the issue of drugs coming into Liberia, and I want to thank even the security network for always discovering those kinds of things. But let me say this: in the West, you have a drug business of about 650 billion. In America, every year you have some drug scandal of $150 billion. Is there, and we are concerned. So when things happen here, we should find solution to those things and not to demonize or say things as far back in the 70s. As you say, I'm 62 years old. Thank God he has brought me this far.
Is it me just saying it? Are you not 62?
I am.
Okay.
I want to tell the world that I am 62 years.
Good.
Yeah. So I can remember in the 70s as a teenager, Liberia, was viewed from CIA, fact book was viewed as a major transit center for drug trafficking. It didn't start today, but you find people moving all around. Evil people will be evil people, and they will move all around. The last time you heard,
we have to track them.
We have to track them. So tracking them should be a kind of encouragement, to make people to be more vigilant on their light. Let me say this: during the time of Reagan, Carter, there was drug incident in the White House. During the time of Reagan, there was drug incident in the White House. During the time of Biden, this time, you also heard about drugs in the White House, right? In the Congress, not Congress, in the House of Commons, in Britain,
Great Britain,
you had in the dining hall of the House of Commons,
which is the House of Representatives.
Yes, you had drugs. So when these people, our security people, being very, watchful, being very, I would say, smart, and discovering these things, let us give them more praises, more credits, and those that will be held culpable, they must, be held culpable. But you do not carry on a kind of expression, a blanket expression on everybody, and you come being opinionated because you have a kind of, I would say, agenda. That is called sophistry. You understand? That is not necessary. It means that you're doing things, with your own arguments and thoughts as to deceive people. That is sophistry.
The legislature was held when she enacted into law the drug law. Let's talk about some of the landmark legislations. Honor your gavel as a Speaker of the House of Representatives. Some of the landmark legislations.
Well,
even though some people say that the legislature performed poorly, I still don't believe that.
Well, principle amongst all is the drugs law, because you have a good mental state,
right?
And it's even greater than health, than wealth. If you are healthier, you can be more productive. Then your actions can be priceless because you can go beyond any imagination. So we've done that in terms of other issues regarding concessions. We're very clear in some of those things. For instance, the metal steel issue. You see how we went through it,
right? And
then how it was, considered by people who benefit and others who may not. Who had other intentions. They had their own issues. The issue regarding even the B mountain, There were issues that we look at, and this legislature, to its credit, this House of Representatives, did not look at it, in a way that we could have just drive through or pass it as it was. We look at some of those things, we capture some of those things, and inform, the concessionaires about what we thought could have been corrected and should be corrected. And also, we had to spend an additional time, that it was a day after what was the day of closure. We did have an additional day to pass it. And that is being supported by Article 40 of the Constitution. So we work within the confines of the law, but because of its sensitivity,
and most of the lawmakers had to abandon their campaign to come and
come back.
Right.
So we want to give them credit for those kinds of things. Look, Liberia, I know history will absolve, will vindicate lawmakers, will give lawmakers the credit after, some time as to what this, body is doing. It is not so simple to sit there and we go to work every day. I go to work every day. I should have been, at some point, I was invited by the Moroccan government. I was invited by the Chinese government. I was invited to go to Poland. I was invited to several areas, but because even the United States, but because of some issue of existential necessity, because of the country's interests, those areas, even China invited me. I was able to, defer. I even had an invitation from Nigeria. I had to, postpone those ones. I would still have to attend those visits, those invitations. I have to attend to them, so that we can even heighten, the thoughts of, global solidarity and making the country a better place, or the globe a better place for all of humanity. But I think we need each other. And as I said, Africa now needs to, showcase some of what required. It is no more time that we ask our friends in the West for permission to do things. I think Africa now needs unity. Africa now needs to ensure that Africa is represented on the seat of 5, the Security Council. And I think one African nation is necessary. Now, the biggest economy in Africa is Nigeria. The largest in terms of population is Nigeria. From history, in terms of statistics, empirical data, 1 out of every 4 Africans is a Nigerian.
Wow.
1 out of every 4 African is a Nigerian. 1 out of every 5 Black person is a Nigerian. So not because our friends are here and they are close to us, but because of their role. The biggest economy in the world, in Africa, is Nigeria. So how can you have France, that is there on the Security Council, and Nigeria is not there? And to be very frank, Nigeria is older than France. Not the colonial independence, the independence by God, creation. We all celebrate our independence. That's good, but these are colonial independence. So I think we need to be more. As I say, I'm 62 years old. I used to be 18 and things were say, oh, wait for your time, wait for the old man. To an extent now, I'm an old man. So if I would tell my friends from in the West, I'm older than some of them. I'm older than Macron. I'm older than the gentleman in Canada. How do you call him?
The president?
No, the prime minister, Trudeau. Trudeau. I'm older than him. So we are also big people on this planet. In terms of age and experience. So we need to inform them. We need to be able to steer the course that Africa needs to also participate in the decision of the world. We don't need scorecard anymore. We don't need scorecard. Imagine what happened before Congress during the time of Trump.
Oh,
during the time of Trump, when Trump was exiting, Look at what happened. Africa, being mature, did not interfere. I mean, in terms of the ethos of diplomacy, Africa, in a kind of a sub rosa manner, behind the curtains, Africans spoke. And we don't want others to do the same, opposite here. So the fact that, Africa has been mature in dealing with global issues, I think there are some lessons to learn from African nations. And of course, we have protocols. No interference in other state matters. That is United Nations.
How are you the last time responding to the ambassador of the United States then?
I think he learned. And
he apologized.
He learned, and that is a good way to proceed. He and I spoke, and I told him that these things were not necessary, in a polite way, and he understood. So I want to give him credit, Mr. McCarthy. I want to give him credit. Again, sometimes too, we need to put some margins, some limits on people. That is why when you are going in a schoolyard, school, community school area, they give you the speed limit. When you are in a hospital zone, when you are in the community, they give you speed zone. So we need to, not everybody will know and think the way you expect them. But if you tell them exactly what they need and need not to do, then I believe they will follow suit. So again, we just feel that people must act intelligently, yes, but sometimes too, because of other excitements, people perhaps can slip. So Liberia forgave McCarthy, and we will make progress into enhancing that kind of a relationship that we so dear.
Honourable Speaker, from the onset of the political activities in Liberia leading to the 2023 presidential and legislative elections, he called on Liberians to uphold the peace of this country with roughly 26 days to the October elections. What are your standings in Maryland County?
And by the way, you're recontesting.
Well, I must say to the audience that I cannot trade Plibo Soloket District for anything because they have been people that are reliable. I can say this, beating my chest. They are a reliable group of people. If not the best, they're amongst the few best. If you can say, out of 10, I think Plibo will be 1. So yes, in terms of rating, that's just how. This is just my mind about it. That is why I am prepared to do anything for them. Look, Plibo, let me say this. I call Plibo New Jerusalem.
Why?
It's not because the development, because I don't have the capacity to develop Plibo the way I think it should be. But I believe there is something significant in Plibo that can act as a trailblazer.
What is it?
The intellect of the people, the intelligence of the people, the polishing, that can make them shine. Never in the history of Liberia that you had a group of people coming from a little place called Plibo, going outside of this country, being second amongst 54 African nations in terms of their academic performance, being 12th in the world in terms of academic performance. These children did the best. And when they were invited, because they were at the George Washington University, they called them there. When they were going, they were requested, this country was requested to carry them, to send them to the United States. Under the era of President Sully, there was no interest, and they were still asking because America, the host country, had, its participants there, people from Great Britain, from China, from Japan, everywhere. I think it was about 164 countries, and then I, being a lawmaker, just at a time I was,
representative.
I was chairman on defense at the House of Representatives, chairman on defense. I was contacted because at least I know some people in America. This is what has been done, and we are inviting Liberia as a nation to participate academically. So I believe children would have come from Monrovia and maybe other areas to go. So I thought about it, and I thought that it was an opportunity that could not be wasted. So we're able, in our own way, to ensure that those young people, 7 young children
From Plebo.
from Plebo, because I didn't have the means of going throughout the district, throughout the county, and I didn't have the means of going throughout the country. So I was able to talk to each of the schools. I said that, give us the best you have from every school. That at that time there was 6 high schools in Plebo Soloket district. Now you have more. So we ask for them, but since Plebo High School is a government senior high school there, we asked that Plebo High School give us 2. So 7 went, and we're able to, in our weak way, send them to America to participate. Amongst nations of the world, the South Africans, the Ghanaians, the Nigerians, the Moroccans,
So Plebo represented Liberia.
Plebo City represented Liberia.
Wow.
And amongst those nations, Plebo Soloket District / Liberia representative, Team Liberia, we call them Team Liberia, came 12th in the world.
Whole world.
They did better than Canadian students. They did better than American students. They did better than Brazilian students. They did better than Chinese students. The children did well.
Wow.
They did extremely well. And
That's
when they
pretty
came back for the pride of this country, I said that I would make arrangement for you to see the president of Liberia. Again, that was it was an illusion, because it eluded them. They could not see the president.
Wow.
We also contacted at the time Warner, Honorable George Warner was the Minister of Education. We told him about it and said, "Oh yes, a good idea. Bring them to my office. We'll see them. In fact, we'll give them scholarship." When we brought them there, carried them there, again, there was nobody present. Honorable Warner, at the time he told us to carry the children there, he wasn't there. By some, I
Seems as though there was no interest.
Yes. So we ended up carrying them to the deputy minister at the time, I think some Horton. Yeah, Horton. We took them to Horton. And, because she was deputy, there was not much she could have said, only to see them out of courtesy. And thankfully, President, we are being magnanimous. At the time, he was senator.
Yeah, from Maserati.
Yes. So he said, I said, Mr. Standard-Bearer, there are some children here from Liberia, from Maryland, from Plebo Soloket district, and they were the ones who represented Liberia, and this was, the output. This is what they did. He said, "Oh, I'm very astonished, but bring them." So I took them there at the time where the party was having meeting along Effie Road, where you have LPDP party headquarters at the time. So I took them there, and the senior officials of the party embraced them. And President Weah also told them that he was how pleased he was, and he encouraged them to do more, and he even made them to celebrate. He gave them some allowances, and he made them
it's a sign of appreciation and motivating them.
Yes,
right.
And then he sent them to the Boulevard Palace to have lunch.
Wow.
So how interested, not being a president, and how much thoughts he had in terms of making Liberia a more prosperous area. So I want to thank him for that kind of a motivation. So when the children graduated, one of those students amongst them was invited back to the United States, and she was given scholarship because of her performance.
Right.
The other ones, I gave them sponsorship at the Tottenham University. Some of them are there. I think the other one is learning theology. So one of them, when he went there, his first semester, he had 4.00.
Wow.
So these are children in my mind that have put Liberia on the stage. That has never happened before in the history of Liberia. So there are good things in Liberia. That's a history of some of those reasons why I call Plymouth Local District, New Jerusalem.
Our speaker, Dr. Buffer Chambers, here, what we're being told by LBS management. We will continue up to 6:30. Thanks a lot. So what we'll do at this time, we'll open the lines to interact with the public a little bit, and then we will come back to our speaker, Buffer Chambers, to talk about your own election in Plebo. 0880514-096-0770-259660 are the numbers to be a part of the conversation right here. Speak or you forever hold your peace. It's your turn to talk. Let's get this person on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, Robert. Good evening, Yega. Good evening, Africa's greatest speaker. How are you, sir?
Thank you so much. We are honored.
Your name, where you joining us from? Sorry, you didn't call your name.
My name is Winston Blyden, elected leader reporter. How are you, Honorable Speaker?
Good man, how are you? Happy to hear your voice.
Well, I call purposely not to talk about the workings of the speaker in Meridian County, because reports that have come in from the county for our correspondent tell us all that you are not just working at the legislature, but you are also concerned about the well-being of the people. But I can say to you as elected reporter that under the watch of Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers, he has brought so much to the legislature. Don't forget, I covered the 52nd, the 53rd, now the 54th. But I can say this with all fear of favor, that under the watch of the great speaker in studio, he has managed to keep the legislature at a peaceful manner. Under the watch of the speaker in studio, he also managed to ensure that staff of the legislature receive a lot of benefits. For example, we have not heard in the past that the issue of welfare, where an employee or staff of the legislature gets sick and have the opportunity to go to the hospital and receive treatment at the expense of the legislature. With all fear and favor, I can say that under the watch of the speaker during my time covering the legislature from the 52nd, the 53rd, I can say to you that people on several occasions, some opposition lawmakers on several occasions were denied, but not under the speaker. I can also say to you,
yeah, Winston, let's take more of the course. You have a live because you are a legislative reporter. Let's take another person here. Hello.
Yeah, hello, my name is Liva S.K. Lowam, alias Dad Boy, calling from Senikole.
Yeah, go ahead for Senikole.
Of Nima County. Honestly, I'm deeply afraid when I heard the honorable man defending the inflow of drugs into our country.
No, he was not defending. He was not defending the influx of drugs. First, he was commending the security for being proactive.
And let me say, honestly, the legislator where our honorable man served as the speaker there, the people have been protesting for their pay as to whether how can he justify that.
When did they? No, sorry, that's not truth. 0880514-096. Let's take this person
Let's
to
talk to this caller. Good evening, welcome to your program. Good evening, welcome.
Hello, welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Mo Adam, and I call from the GS0 community.
And let's hear you, please.
Good evening, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you are part of the government and that is seeking re-election. Mr. Speaker, I want to know, as the Speaker of Liberia, what is it that you have done, your government has done, and want for the people of Liberia to re-elect them? And also, what are the challenges? What is it that you didn't finish doing? What was the challenges that you think, as the Speaker of this nation, that when you are re-elected, you can do for the betterment of this country? Lastly, Mr. Speaker, what is your thought on peace? Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Speaker. Taking notes, he will respond to those concerns. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good evening, Brother.
Is that Cyrus?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I know you have me before, but I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, I need to go to school. Please help me. I've been telling the allowing me. So, I want to tell you, thank you. Oh, blessing. Tell me what.
Okay, Cyrus, thanks a lot. More of the calls can come. Let's take another person. Hello? Let's hear you.
Yeah, Rabbi, this is Maorita Do, the president for Chicken Soup Factory.
Maorita, go ahead from Chicken Soup Factory, even though there's no chicken soup there now.
I want to salute our Southeastern hero. They made the legislation stable. They made that live with the people with patience. I want to salute him. Honorable, I want to tell you thank you.
Thank you.
Keep it on. While we're president, that president we are make sure that Liberian people get what they need. I want to tell you thank you. While we're president, we are for the Southeast. Let our road be connected. I want to tell you thank you. I want to tell the people of Maryland, don't make a mistake. Don't make a mistake. For Bhofal Chambers. That man is a man that for the Southeast that may helping our people. What we're in, I vote for him. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's take more of the calls.
To that caller. Good evening, welcome. Good evening, welcome. What is your name and where you're joining us from? Let's hear you, please.
Hello.
Good evening, welcome.
My name is Imangeti. I will join us.
You're coming in distorted. Can you change your location a bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear you, please.
I said my name is Imangeti. I will join us.
Okay, Emmanuel, let's hear you.
I want to say good evening to the speaker of Liberia.
Good evening, sir.
Actually, what I want to say, I want to change the information of taking the peace between our legislature, especially the representative for the teaching of them. Yeah, so I want to change to him a lot.
Okay, thank you. Commending the speaker for stabilizing the Honorable House of Representatives. Let's talk to another caller. Welcome, good evening. Good evening, welcome. Good evening, please go ahead. I think let's talk to...
Well, let's take on this person calling. Hello?
Hello?
Good evening. Welcome to the program. This is Today in the House. Welcome to the program.
Hello? Can you get me?
Welcome to the program. You're live.
Thank you very much. My name is Maurice Gibson. I am the Deputy Sergeant at Arms.
Yeah, Maurice, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Good day to the Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, permit me to speak, sir.
Good afternoon. I mean, good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. My family and I will remain ever indebted to you. My leg is hurting, and you was the first responder, and you responded so very kindly. I'm grateful to you. You are a straightforward father. You are the fulcrum of the 54th legislature. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
How is the legs now?
Yes, I'm working towards that. The doctor is telling me that he will conduct the surgery. He sent for some equipment to Ghana. So I'm like standing by. He gave me a few injections to take to numb it in the meantime. So I'm grateful to the speaker.
Okay, all the best for you.
Wish you full and speedy recovery.
Right.
Let's talk to another caller. Good evening, welcome. Good evening. Can you kind of lower the volume of your receiver, please? Let's hear you. Let's try another caller. Good evening, welcome.
Yes, good evening.
What is the name and where are you joining us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from George District, Greco County.
Okay, it's good to have you on the line. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Bhofal Chambers, the speaker of the House, has spoken well. You see, I live in Maryland. I know what he can do. But what he said, you see, the person in Maryland, they him a capacity to make building up. And not everybody will come and build store and say they listening. No, I tell you, him a capacity of Bhofal Chambers building for the first time. Very much so. So thank you, God bless you for watching more.
Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot. Let's take another person here. Hello? Good evening. Oh, sorry. 0805140960.
Let's talk to this caller. Good evening, welcome. You have to lower the receiver of your radio. The volume, the volume of your receiver, please. Hello, welcome. Please lower the volume.
How you doing, bro?
Okay, we're great here. Let's hear you.
I'm very grateful to be connected with this platform.
Okay, so let's hear you. What is your name?
Yes, I'm calling from New Jerusalem. Where is speaker here from?
Oh, you're calling from New Jerusalem. How is New Jerusalem this evening?
Happy. What I see is speaker there. The speaker need to kind of brilliant to run chatting because we are already on. We learn so much. We will not lose the speaker say the represented position in the country.
Okay, thank you. Things are on course in Maryland. Good evening, welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Let's hear you.
Can you lower your receiver to make your point? Okay, go ahead. Let's hear you. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Hello.
Move on side the radio. Just move on side the radio. Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead for Plibo.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead now. Let's hear you. You're calling from Plibo.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to the speaker in studio. I just want to understand what in 18 years the speaker not did for Plibo District. I actually want to do that. We should be in 24 years. And the second issue here is the speaker launching of all the there are some other information coming from the other opposition side that they might be launching on the 8th. So how can the speaker reconcile with that? Because there will be two opposition, two different parties that will be launching on a particular day in terms of chaos. How can the speaker speak to that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. He's taking notes. Good evening. Welcome. Let's hear you. Good evening. Welcome. Hello. When you calling, just move on side the radio. Load the volume, yeah? Yeah, load the volume. Load the volume.
Hello, welcome to the program. Good evening, welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello, you on the line. Let's hear you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Oliver E. Palantino calling from Lower Margaret County.
Oliver, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, let's hear you now. You on the line already.
Oh, yeah, I just want to employ the honorable speaker for elaborating on all of the SOC. But I have a little problem when it comes to the representation that we sent back then. We were talking about, this is a big country we find ourselves. For a little portion of the country, people living from there to go and represent a huge country like Liberia, somehow say it was just done, for self-praise or whatever you report it.
But they did extremely well, though. Thank you so much. Let's take another more person on the line. Hello.
Good evening.
Let's hear you. Your name, where you join us from.
Thank you. My name is Brutus B. Cloutier. I'm executive member of the Veterans Bureau of Nigeria and one of the Google standing into community.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, let me say thank you to the speaker for the splendid elaboration. I have a question to the speaker. And the question is, Honorable Speaker, you are one of the longest state legislators at the Nigerian Parliament. And my intelligence has shown to me that the road is far for which when you are going, they usually use Ivory Coast route. So the question is, what intervention have you made in terms of your oversight responsibility since your ascendancy as representative at the Nigerian Parliament and subsequently becoming a speaker?
Okay, thanks a lot. Anyway, we don't have parliament, we have legislature.
And the last time the speaker traveled through the Liberian corridor, that was in December, to celebrate the festive season with his people.
Right. So let's take two more. We'll come back to Speaker Chambers to respond because we're here up to 6:30. I've been told. This person in line, Mr. Speaker, I hope you're taking note.
Good evening, welcome.
Hello?
Hello, welcome.
I don't have a question, but rather a comment.
What is your name? What is your name?
Okay, I am calling from the municipal borough of Nikuta.
And what is your name?
And my name is Joseph K. Bayer, the president of the Celebration of Borough Village. and the teacher there for asking Congress to approve to be part of those that approve of the 12% of women. Right. I mean, the 12% given to women. I want to say thank you very much. And that he has done a marvelous work for the entire country of the Republic of Liberia. He's not only from the Southeastern region, but he's for everybody. Everybody, our secular has said his presence. I commend him because of the manner in which he has the entire legislature under control. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Well, thanks a lot. We conclude with the courts and come to Speaker Buffer Chambers to respond to those concerns. A lot of them coming up, and so we have a whole plate of it, and you have to be able to respond bit by bit where those concerns coming up.
Well, I will start from the last to go up. I want to thank also the lady for her words of encouragement. I am humble.
Mr. Speaker, let me just squeeze in your political advisor who joining us yet. Mr. George Watkins.
You see this?
Mr. George Watkins, you're live. Let's hear you. Mr. Watkins, you're live. Let's hear you. Oh, sorry. Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the lady from the borough of Newtown who sent kind words of encouragement to the gentleman who said that why did I send a few students only from Maryland County, in fact, only from my district. It was somehow, I think it's if for the lack of a better way, it was self-seeking. It was it was personal. Basically, as a lawmaker, I did not have the capacity to recruit people from all over Liberia to represent Liberia. Now, subsequent to that, there was another, because it's an annual issue. There was another invitation sent to Liberia, and that time, because now the people knew me, I sent the communication to the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Education was able to do its recruitment for students, and the outcome was telling. I think they came, I think around the 50th place in the world.
Wow.
So if that was the case, for that approach, I thought that whatever it was, of course, it was in good faith, and I want to let the brother know that whatever anyone intends to do or build that should be worthwhile, one should be ready for criticism. So yes, to say that I sent a group of students from a narrow space in Liberia, I think in my mind it was the best choice. I would call it a Hobson's choice, meaning that there was no other way that you could have done what was his belief at the time. Let me say also the one that asked what do I need to do? Why do I need an additional time to do what I haven't done? I think they also has part of question number one. So the issue here is that there have been so many things that we all envisage to see that will make Liberia a better, more prosperous environment. We see the platforms and the blueprints being produced. It is about the implementation,
right,
and to work with His Excellency the President to ensure that that happens. And I want to thank the people of Liberia that have been too supportive of this president to ensure that he wins, and he wins, with a kind of a seismic proportion. The earth will shake, and you see victory coming.
Oh, really?
So yes. So he will win, and he will win big. So that is, want to thank them for giving that kind of support to the president. As I said, once one wants to do something, you cannot avoid criticism. It will come.
Right.
It makes people stronger. Also, another person asked, why this government deserve another term. It's the same thing.
Right.
So this government has done us proud, has done us great things, made us proud. So we are so pleased to work with this government and for this government, and to ensure that the direction that have been chosen will go in a kind of a defined way. I want to also thank the Liberian people, because in themselves they are tribunes. They are people who have defended the rights of all of us, the Liberian people defending us. So I call them tribunes. They have upheld for some time. They are upholding and defending the rights of all of us. So their actions speak volumes for all of us. So I would just say that we are very pleased to be with His Excellency the President. He is one of the best shepherds that any sheep will deserve or require to have. So let us all work together to make this country more peaceful, to maintain the unity of this country, to ensure that Liberia be an oasis of new developments. And we have charted the course before, where Liberia led many countries, and it is still not late for everybody to work together. And I think this president had defined that. I want to thank him for his democratic credentials. He had told the world that he will not, opt for an additional time.
Right.
And that, in my mind, is a kind of a epitome of a true democratic, individual. And so let us work and see how we, in concert, can make Liberia a better place. There is life after elections. Elections are just part of what we will achieve, in time to come. So I want to thank all of the Liberian people. I want to thank the people of Plibo-Soloke district.
Somebody talk about you launching on.
Okay, yes.
And another person will be launching
Yes,
too.
yes.
There are two others.
Yes. If one is losing, then one wants to have excuses. In Maryland, where I'm from, they say if Tabadu is ready to die, it can miss a hole.
Tabadu.
What is Tabadu?
Person.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you put fire in the little hole where you
jump on the other side.
then when it jumps out, there's no refuge.
Right.
The arbiter of election processes is the Elections Commission.
Right.
There is no individual who will come up to say that this is the day I will go by. No. Elections Commission receives applications and then assign dates
to
assign your schedules.
Right.
So if somebody believes that he or she is above the law will take its course. So it's a sign of defeat. It's a sign of weakness. So we don't want to dignify.
When are you launching your campaign?
On the 8th
of
October.
And then the 10th is the election.
Certainly.
To have it fresh in the mind of the people?
No, this is how I have always run my elections. So some people accuse me. I go to India. They say I go to India. I haven't been to India before. They say I go to India. Wear a handkerchief. That's what they say. So no, it's my relationship with the people. I was born in people. I live with the people, and I cherish every moment that I live. I said to people that I will retire in Plibo-Soloke district. When I retire, I will retire in Plibo-Soloke district.
Oh, you retire.
I retire. I like that place. Actually, I like that place. Your
people are receptive.
The ambience, is so unmatched. And the people are peerless. There's no group of people like the people of Plibo-Soloke district. I like them. To be very frank, whatever come my way, they are my people. I will not hold them for anything. They have done what any thinking person can do. These are people with rational judgment, and I'm proud of them. There is no way I can trade them. No way. No group of people that I think deserve my praises, like how I put praise and all praises on the people of Plibo-Soloke district. There are people that brought me up. How can you separate apple from the tree? The apple brings the tree. The people of Plibo, I'm a Pliboyan. and I'm proud of that.
Pleboyan. That's a new word.
Yes. Inhabitants of Plebo are pleboyans.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I know the people there. Somebody spoke also too about the road, the challenge on the road, and the intervention being made.
All of the resources have been gathered. Global warming, is just it has manifested itself. You see, in Japan, because of the change in climate, roads are being swept out. Now you see the rain being torrential. Everywhere is flood at this time. But all of the resources have been mobilized. Everything now is there. And you see, even though you have problem with rains, but I think because of the low rain level you have in Monrovia, you see the president and you see the government is working on the Rowersfield Highway.
Right.
Plebo, Maryland, the Southeast has more rainfall than on this side, Central and this part of Liberia. So you see, even the road intervention between Ganta and Locatua is ongoing. You understand? So it is not that you see the intervention. Yes. So you see exactly what the government is doing. So I think we must give praises. Did it happen before this government? I said no. So when the government is doing something, let us give praises where praises are due. So I think in my mind, our president is self-abnegating. He is one who doesn't take things for what he gets in return, what he deserves in return. He's a sacrificial man. He sacrifices for the good of the people. He puts the people first. So this is what we appreciate. And it's hard to have somebody like him. It's strange. So when somebody doing good to you, say, "Oh, but what they good for?" They're good, they're selfless. So let us praise this president. Let us encourage people in government. Yes, there will not be a perfect government. And there's another person who said I was defending the issue of illicit drugs. Yeah. I didn't say. I said we must praise the officers who have always intercepted, drugs coming here. And I also said that Liberia, from CIA fact book, since the 70s, when I was a young child, it was looked at as a major transshipment point for drugs to Europe and America. And I also said that even as we all are concerned, in the White House, records show that during the time of Jimmy Carter, drugs were found in the White House. During the time of Ronald Reagan, drugs were found in the White House. Just recently, under Biden, drugs were found in the White House. In England, the House of Commons, drugs were found in the cafeteria. So I'm saying that this is a global issue. And when we work together, solutions will be found. And I also said, in America, the illicit drug market is 150 billion. That's what I said.
Right.
I'm not defending things. I'm only telling the reality. So I think if we work together, we can achieve what we want to see achieved in our time.
And you cannot defend because you passed the drug law.
Of course. So
you were here for
and
that.
again, my brother in Nimba, I have been so interactive with the Nimba people. I think you can remember the little girl who almost lost her eye.
Right.
I intervened. I even gave people from Nimba scholarship.
Right.
A gentleman was living abroad. I even had to.
The gentleman have found the money too.
Yes. So basically, I'm from Maryland, but I, cherish our people. I will interact with our people, and as such, let's work together. If you have pieces of advice, send them to us. We don't have anything to say that we have mastery of knowledge. We are just as I would say ignorant as many persons. So we are open to suggestions and pieces of advice. But I want to say that we can achieve as a country, as a continent, as a people, based on the principles of humanity and common humanity, we'll succeed together.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for joining us today.
And lastly, I want to say that vote President Weah, number 18. Vote him because in my mind, he's a paragon. He's a leader who shows direction. And he's one that we, I think, can be proud of because he has made many doors open for us in other parts of the world. Also, vote Bhofal Chambers He's number 18. And vote all.
What space are you?
I'm number 2.
Number 2 on the ballot.
I'm number 2.
Okay.
The president is 18.
All right.
And I want to say that vote all CDC candidates.
Right.
Because we feel that we need to be a majority party to carry on the agenda of this, steward and this, stalwart of the party and this leader of our new democracy. Because in my mind, he's one who is, exemplary in his actions, and he means well for the country. So vote President Weah, vote CDC, make Liberia a better place. Together we can achieve it.
Together we can achieve it. House Speaker Bhofal Chambers there from Plebo-Southern District, Maryland County, where he's placed, like he said, number 2 on the ballot, and President Weah number 18, as he said, vote. So that's all the time we have to be here. Commendations coming, many of them coming from the staff of the legislature, commending for the first time in the history of the legislature to be getting welfare, and they are able to carry their children to hospital and so forth like that. Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Dieka, we have to run.
Yes, we'll be here on Thursday next week. Again, thank you for listening.
All right. That's wonderful. All the time we have to be here. My name is Robert.